Hello, hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Stephanie and we're in my sewing room, and today we're talking about Hoodie Hugs Dress. This is a pattern that I designed and made, and I'm going to show you how to make it too. So here it is, Hoodie Hugs, and this pattern is available on Etsy. And so let me just show you a little bit about that. I have it pulled up right here, and I'm going to put a link in the description box for you to find this pattern. And if you can't, just do the Hoodie Hugs Dress and you'll find it. It's right there at the top. It's a fun, casual, comfy dress. I love comfy, but I think comfy can be cute. And I actually do a little bit of traveling with my glammed up camper, which you can find on my channel just by looking at my playlists. And I wanted clothes that were comfy and campy, like camping. And I decided I wanted a hoodie dress to wear with leggings, or in the summer just with sandals. And I ended up making my own. And so this has been a journey of just finding comfort for myself, but now I'm sharing it with you so you can be comfortable too. So I don't want to take too long because we're going to sew. Couple of things. It has a lined hood, and it also has a short sleeve, a 3/4 sleeve, and a long bell sleeve. It comes from small to 5X. It's a downloadable, printable, you can print at home or at your print shop, PDF. Let's see, it's for stretch knits only. It has complete instructions, and it has my very own, that I designed myself, comfort waist size chart. Real bodies, real women. Inseam pockets. It has A4 size file letter, so that if you're in a place that does A4, we've got that. And we also have letter size, which is 8.5 by 11. And so there's the details on that. So what I want to do is take you through this step by step and show you how I make it. It is so simple and easy. A couple of things. I use only my serger pretty much for the whole project. If you don't have a serger, don't worry. Use your sewing machine. Just find your stretch stitch or a slight zigzag, and that'll be just fine. You'll have no problems. In my instructions, I do have a few little tips, and so pay attention to those. Those are just little things that help me along the way. Couple of things I wanted to say before we get started. One is printing. If you want to save on ink, then don't print the instructions. Just look at them on your iPad or your laptop or your phone and read them from there. If you do want to print them, I suggest you do the booklet size. I love this little booklet. It's so easy to follow. So there you go, saving on ink. Now, if you need to save on fabric, a couple of places you can save is you can make the size small hood instead of the size that you are, in any size, and that will be just fine. It'll save you a little bit. The other thing you could do is on the lining, you could use a coordinating fabric or a solid, or no lining. Just don't line it. That's fine too. Pockets could be of a different fabric, something coordinating or something fun. You could even color block this and do the sleeves different. So there's lots of ways to save on fabric, and so I just thought I would mention that. It's kind of fun too. Makes you get, you know what I always say, it's a design opportunity. If you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and, check back, because I do have all kinds of content here. I'm back every Friday to talk about life and sewing, and I also have videos about my glammed up camper. So that's kind of fun. So without any further ado, let's make this dress. Okay, so we want to prepare the pattern. I use chalk to mark my pattern, but you want to mark where your pockets are on the front and the back. And then you also on the front want to mark your V for the V-neck. So those two are going to be done. Then you want to mark the center spot for your sleeve. Another thing you want to do is mark your dot on both of your hood pieces. All four of them actually. So that dot gets marked as well. And then last but not least is go ahead and serge your sleeve so that you can hem it easily when the time comes. So now we are prepared. We have 4 pocket pieces, 4 hood pieces, 2 sleeve, a front and a back. Step 1 is shoulder seams. So you want to, using clips, attach them front to back, right sides together, and either use your sewing machine or your serger. I'm going to be using my serger for the whole project. So you want to serge the top 2 shoulder pieces. Shoulder seams are attached. So now in this process, it's a good time, I'm going to give you a tip, to check your fit. So what I recommend you do is you take this dress and you just baste the sides up and try it on and see if it fits you, and make your adjustments, and then you'll know that it will fit from now on, because you make those adjustments and then you transfer it to your paper pattern. So I already know mine fits, so I'm not going to do that part, but you go ahead and do that basting. You'll be so glad when you get your perfectly fitted Hoodie Hugs in the end. So let's go on to the next step. For the next step, we're going to make our hood. So let's set our dress aside for now. You should have 4 pieces. You want to cut these twice, so you should have 4 pieces. And so right sides together, make sure you have your right sides together. You're going to sew or serge the hood. So I'm going to use clips to attach, and then I'm going to serge both the hood and the hood lining. So they're clipped, and now I'm going to serge or sew both hoods right sides together. So now they're both serged and ready to put together. So turn your hood right side out, and we're going to take it over to the machine, and you're either going to top stitch this seam to make it just pretty, or you could leave it alone if you like. I'm going to top stitch mine with a twin needle because I like the way that looks. But a regular sewing machine top stitch would do just fine. And do that on both the hood and the hood lining. I'm all set up with my sewing machine for the twin needle effect. So I have the extra spool that came with my machine. It had another spindle to put in this little hole. So I have 2 spools of thread, and they go through the same threading process as one, but there's a twin needle right here that's inserted. I also have a walking foot attachment on, and you want to perhaps play around with your, you have to find just the right tension. This little post-it note is because when my machine is off, it goes to 0, 0, and the needles go to the left, so they don't want to work with that walking foot. So I have to remind myself not to break my needle by making myself choose one. I like to set myself on a nice long stitch length. So I'm doing 4, you could do 3.5, whatever makes it's all about the look at this point. This is just for the look. Okay, so now I have this, and I can see that my seam is pushed to the left. So I want my twin needle effect to go right here on this little bump. And I'm kind of lining it up with my walking foot just for the measure of where it's going to go. I also want it to be nice and flat. So as I'm feeding it, I like to use this little corner turning tool that I got at Joann's, and I kind of just make it flat as we sew. So here we go. You kind of want to just spread it out some more. Make sure you got it just in the right spot. So now both my hood and my hood lining have been top stitched, and I used the twin needle for that. So the next thing we want to do is we want to attach the hood lining to the hood, and we're going to do right sides together. There's our neck edge, right there's our neck edge, and there's our top. And so there's my top stitching, that's the right side. And so we're going to take this one with the right side together, backwards. Okay, and so basically we're going to serge this front edge. So first let's attach it with some clips. It's really nice to get this to match. So you want to definitely make sure that you clip this first so that your stitches match up. I don't know that I've ever gotten it exactly perfect, but at least there's a try thing. So right sides are now attached, and the hood lining and the hood are attached to each other. So the next thing you want to do is you want to create your front on the outside. So you want to turn this right side out and hope you got your stitches close. Well, they're not exact, but about as close as I've ever come. I think I don't want to take a close-up. It's not exact. So here's what you want to do. You want to get this serged seam kind of pulled out and make it look kind of like a hood. Let's see, I'll fold it so you can kind of see it's a hood. Okay, so there's my hood, and I want to go ahead and top stitch all around the front of it. So now the hood has been top stitched all around the front, and so now this is now the right side, and this is now the wrong side, the lining. So lay your dress right side up, and let's just mark off our neckline for attaching the hood. And what I want to do is I want to have 4 equal spaces around to ease them together. So we know that our V-neck is the center of the front. Let's find the center of the back. Okay, there it is. All right, now let's find the center of the sides. So basically just take these 2 clips and hold them together, and then there's our other quarter, and then we'll do that again. Hold these 2 clips together, find that spot, and mark it with a clippy. So now we have sectioned our neckline into 4 equal sections. So another thing that we want to do is we want to stay stitch this neck at the dot. So I won't need this clip. I know this is V is the front. So you have your little dot and you want to stay stitch a couple inches that way and a couple inches that way. Just to make sure I get my stay stitching in the right place, I marked off a little bit of place where that stay stitching is going to go. I used my ruler for 1/2 inch all the way around, and that's where my dot is right there. So what you want to do is you want to cut right here at this V. Let's see if I'm in focus. I'm not sure I'm in focus. Okay. You want to cut this V straight down to the dot, but you do not want to cut your stitch. Just get close. So now you want to just set your dress aside and work on your hood that you're going to attach now. Okay, so here's our hood. Now I'm just going to turn it so that this is our neckline right here. That's our neckline, and this is the front. So we're going to take it and lay it like it's going to be on the dress. Okay, that's the back. And then you just want to take this front right here and hold it, and then take this front and lay it on top, and find those 2 points. Do you see the point here and the point here? And lay them on top of each other so that those points make 1 point. So we marked our dot. Let's go ahead and mark that with a pen. So there's my dot. There's my dot. Okay, so we're going to mark that with a pen right there. So find your dot. If you can't find your dot, then just make a little mark at half inch, and the apex of that will be where your dot should be. Now you don't want to measure a 1/2 inch from the point. That would be wrong. It's from the 2 sides. There's your point. So let's mark that with a pen. Now I really want this V to stay in place right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is keep my dot marked, is I'm just going to clip it a little right here, all these layers. All right, and then what I want to do is I'm going to hand baste my little V right here, and then I'm going to attach it to my dress. Just this part right here, just this part. And then when that's attached to the dress and we've got our little V, then I'm going to do the rest of the hood. But right now I just want to secure this V on my hood. So I'm going to hand baste that. Okay. Okay, so now that's going to stay in place. I'm leaving my pin because it's marking my dot. So now what's next is we're going to put it on our dress. So let's get our dress. Okay, so this is the right side of the dress, and this is the right side of the hood. This is the front, this is the front. This is going to go here. So here we go. Take this hood with our stay stitching and our pen, marking the dot, and you want to do right sides together. Right there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to match up this dot with this dot. So this dot is right here at this stay stitching. So right at our V, our point, we want to match up my dot for my hood and my dot for my dress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pin and I'm just going to put it right on the other side of that stay stitching. See where it's at? And now we have the point is sort of in where the cut is. Let me just show you a close-up of that. So now we're going to attach just the V part, just the V of the V-neck, to the dress. Okay, we've got the right sides together. You can double check that if you want, but I want to go ahead and sort of clip this together, all of these layers. So basically just kind of lay flat your V. You see your cut, and you want to keep that pin in there because that's going to hold your dot, and then you just want to line up this seam with your hood. So now we have our dot lined up here with our pin. Don't let that go because that's important that it stay in that spot. Okay, and we have our hood lined up here. Okay, so that's what it looks like on this side. And if you want to see what it looks like on the other side, it looks like this. Whoopsie. I missed one layer there. Whoopsie, come back, pen. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this red hand basting, and I'm going to do it again, but this time with all the layers. Man, this is the hardest part of the dress. If you get this V right, everything's going to be great. So I know I've got my clippies here, but I'm going to hand baste it too. You feel free to skip any of these steps that you don't want to do. Okay, so now I've basted my V. So now what I want to do is I want to go to the sewing machine, and from here to here to this V, I'm going to sew it to the dress. And I'm going to keep my pin to mark that dot so it stays right there. So I'm going to sew on this side so I don't miss somehow the dot and just miss that. I don't want it to be gaping there. All right, so I've sewn my V. I'm going to give you a close-up of that right now. And I want to thank Lifting Pins and Needles. Her video on V-necks for knit is just everything to me. It really helped me slow down and try to do it nicely. And so this technique is mostly from her. I may not have done it exactly, but I'm going to take out my basting because I don't need that anymore. And let me show you the other side, the inside of the dress. So you see we went ahead and caught that clipped area, the area that we cut out the V in, we caught that because I sewed with this on top so I could see it. And I did just like Lifting Pins and Needles shows. You got to just take that one stitch at a time, hand turning your wheel on your machine. Okay, I no longer need the stay stitching. I sewed on the other side of it so it could just stay, but I'm just going to take it out. I don't really need it there anymore. And sometimes these extra threads confuse me. All right, so now we're ready to attach the rest of the neckline of the hood, and we want to keep it right sides together. And this can seem a little confusing. Hey, did you look at it on the other side? Looks really nice. So here's our hood, and here's our V-neck, and they are right sides together. And I went ahead and clipped the back center to the back center of the dress. So now I have these clips on the dress halfway between the two. So let's find the halfway spot in our hood now. It's right there. And did you see how I did that? I just took my center front, which is the V, and my center back, which is the clip, and I held them together, and that right there is the center of that side. So now I should have 4/4 of both, and I just need to match them up. Okay, so we go to the side, we find this quarter clip, and let's clip them together. The goal is to have 4/4 of the dress and the hood together. So this is my neck. I'm going to go to my serger, and I'm going to begin at my V right here. Now this has a point to it. Let me get it over the white. See, my V has a point to it. Okay, why I'm telling you this is a reason. We're going to start the serger at that point. We're going to go all the way around the neck, come back, and we're going to end at this point. So they'll go like this. It's going to look really cool. So when I start serging here and I get to the end here where this is set, I'm going to pull a little to get these edges together. So this is the dress and this is the hood, and there's a little discrepancy between the two. This is the beauty of sewing with stretchy fabrics. You can make them work together just by stretching. Now see how they go together? If you want to, you could put another clip right there just to make it work. But now they want to lay together. It just wants to. So I'm going to do that on all 4/4. I'm just going to stretch a little as I sew. Let's take this neck to the serger and let's go all the way around. Okay, we're all serged on, and let's look on the inside and see what that looks like. You see how that serged the point? So that just came out great. Choop, choop. So you start on one side, go all the way around, and end that way. So the inside of that neckline is great. I'm happy. I definitely put my top stitching on top, so that's correct. And my hood is on. Yay! We are in the home stretch now. We're going to be putting on these sleeves. So what we want to do is put right sides together. And you remember you made a little mark for the top. That's going to go right here. So here's my mark. So I'm going to take that right sides together and I'm going to put that right there. Okay, so now let's take the other side of this sleeve and line it up here. And this part of the sleeve and line it up here. Okay, make sure you have your right sides together. I do. So now what we have is we have the sleeve marked in 3 places. Okay, so now here I'm going to do my same thing, stretch and ease the sleeve together. So basically I'm going to take these 2 sections. There's a little bit more sleeve than there is dress. So I'm going to take these 2 sections and I'm just going to stretch them until I have a center. And then I'm going to mark that. And then I'm just going to do the same thing right here. So here's my sleeve. That's my sleeve. That's my dress. There's a little more sleeve than there is dress. So I'm just going to lay that there. Take these two spots and just pull them a little and then find that center. And then clip that. Use a clip to hold it together. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this through the sewing machine or serger. I'm using a serger. And I'm just going to, when I get to that part where there's a little more on top than there is on the bottom, I'm just going to stretch it slightly when I sew. Okay? Make sure that pen doesn't come out. Stretch it slightly as I sew, and then the same thing here between these two. When it gets into the machine, I'm just going to stretch it slightly when I sew. Yippee! The sleeves are in! It's starting to look like a dress with a hood. Next is going to be our pockets. Alright, so line up your dress with your side seam, and then we're going to put one set of these pockets in. So you want to make sure that you have your right sides out. So you'll put wrong sides together. It's the opposite of what we usually do. Wrong sides together. Even to me, it looks wrong. You know, wrong sides together, we never do that, right? So line your pockets up so that they match. You want them to match. This is going to be one pocket, so we want it to match. The other thing you want to be careful of is you need to know that this is the up and this is the down. So if you don't do it right, you'll have your pocket in upside down, like we all haven't done that. Okay, so it's going to go right where these markings are, inside. We're going to sandwich it right inside of this seam. See if we got our spot. Yep. Okay, so my pocket's in there. So use some clips to clip the front pocket to the front and the back pocket to the back. I'm going to use a serger. So this is for the serging people. I am going to cut the top and the bottom of my pocket, right at the bottom, about a ½ inch, right there. Cut it one with the top. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the front. So now what's going to happen is I have a little cut. See it in the fabric? I have a little cut there. So when I'm at the serger, I'm just going to fold those out of the way, okay? And I'm just going to serge that pocket right there. So the pockets have been attached. They were serged. And I took it to the ironing board and I pressed the seam towards the pocket. Now we're going to pin the side together and we're going to serge the side seams. Okay, so now I'm ready to sew or serge this side. And so if you're sewing with a sewing machine, you'll do this whole side, and I'm going to use a serger. I always like to start at the top and sew my way down on both sides. So I'll start at the top and sew my way down. I just feel like there's less chance of it being wonky if I do that. So here's my plan. I'm going to start here, serge all the way down, and then when I get here, I'm just going to stretch it flat like this and go like this. Around here, around here, around here, around here, around here, around here, around here. That's what I'm going to do. So the sides are sewn up. They're all serged down. And now we're going to make this pocket disappear into this seam. So how we're going to do that is we're going to go to the sewing machine and we're going to sew a straight stitch about 1 inch past the pocket on the top and a straight stitch from this seam straight down about 1 inch past the pocket on this side. So we have a little bit of stitching right here and a little bit of stitching right there. I just eyeball it. I don't measure it, but if I did, it would probably be about 1 inch. And now we're going to press it. So now you want to press this whole pocket down right here on this seam. Actually, I like to do my whole seam pressing towards the front, pressing the pocket and everything towards the front. Almost done. So these pockets disappeared into the side seam. I love that. So I'm just going to serge my bottom hem, This is already serged, so I'm just going to turn it over once and twin needle it, and we'll have a completed Hoodie Hugs. Okay, it's all finished, and the hems are done with the twin needle effect, and a little pressing. Pressed all my hems and got them all nice and pressed. But there you go. Done. I love how it turned out. So there we are. It's done. We made it. And here I'm wearing it. Super comfy, super cute. And it just goes for so many occasions. I hope you enjoyed this sew along. I hope you enjoy your Hoodie Hugs. And if you post it on social media, please use my hashtag Hoodie Hugs Dress. And let's see everybody's dresses. That would be so fun. Next up, my next pattern is going to be a comfort waist leggings to go with this dress. So stay tuned and hit that subscribe button, and you will be notified when that comes out. It's going to be so comfy. If you have any questions or you need any help, please let me know. I look forward to seeing your Hoodie Hugs dress. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.